Welcome everyone to another new week of the CFO Swinger Watch. If you guys don't know what this video is about, this is a very quick technical analysis video on all the new names that we'll be watching for this week. Okay, so let's talk about the overall markets. We had a very eventful week last week in the technical side of the market as we continued this amazing run that we started 2 weeks ago. So in the middle of last week on I believe Wednesday here, we had a slight slump, which was expected because we have ran for about 5 consecutive days here. And on Friday, it looked like we are about to end up red until near the end of the day and near the power hour. A lot of bulls came in and we saw the price rise higher and we closed on a very high note as well, ending up with a nice hammer candlestick. So like I said before, guys, we have our first critical target or resistance around 456.50-ish. And that is the place where we saw that previous failed breakout, which is now a double top. So if we reject off of 456.50 again, that would become a triple top, meaning we have a double confirmation that this level, okay, has a lot of sellers. And this could possibly mean if we reject that we can head lower. And this whole bounce here was just an overall bearish market bounce. Okay. Now, like I've said it before, during bear markets, we tend to have these huge 10% plus bounces in the overall markets. So, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we go all the way up to 456.50 and then reject again, which confirms a triple top and confirms that there's a lot of sellers at 456.50. Okay, so like I said before as well, I expect the markets to continue to move up higher until we reach 456.50. And there are plenty of opportunities for you all to swing just SPY here, all the way up to 456.50. Okay, with where we closed that right now on Friday, we have about, I would say, about 3+ points until 456.50. So nearly 4 points there. So if you guys feel like you guys, missed out on this big run, you don't need to, right? Because we are already, about 4 points away from 456.50, and you can still make some good money off of those 4 points. Okay, now let's take a look at QQQ. So QQQ here is already interesting because we ended up at a very critical level of resistance around 360.50. Okay. And this is a huge pivot point. If you take a look right here, okay, and right here as well, 360.50 was a level where we saw a lot of selling coming in. I mean, even in the past year, okay, even when we thought that the market's going to start rolling over back in September to October in 2021, okay, 360 didn't act as a very good area of support. We penetrated through the support level multiple times, even as we're trying to bounce. So if the whole tech sector decides to come back down again, okay, I expect in QQQ here for us to not be able to move over 360.50, okay, and we will reject from 360.50 as we saw on Friday, and we start heading back down. And if we head back down, right, this right here will be our lower high that we need to see from these two lower high points. Okay. And if we get this lower high here, this third lower high compared to the other two, that will confirm that we are still in a bear market and in a downtrend. Right. So like I said, with SPY as well, if we get confirmation that we're still in a downtrend, an overall downtrend, this bounce will be completely negated, okay, and the bounce that we saw in the past 2 weeks, okay, was just a oversold bear market bounce. All right, so do not be surprised if we do reject that 360.50 and start coming back down, rolling over. And if we completely erase all the gains that we made in the past 2 weeks, because that's very, very common in bearish markets. Okay, let's take a look at our first name, O, or Realty Income Corporation. So this is a REIT, or REIT, real estate investment trusts. Okay, and the number one reason why I'm looking at this is that, well, remember in the past 2 weeks or past 3 weeks or so, I've been telling you guys to look at VNQ, right? VNQ. And that's the Vanguard Real Estate ETF, right? And it tracks, well, real estate. So Vanguard Real Estate ETF here has been very, very strong, right? If you can take a look at the overall market, SPY and QQQ, and compare it to VNQ, you see a huge difference, right? I mean, the VNQ is already back above the daily 50 and 200, even if we just saw a death cross happen. And the momentum is now going to the upside instead of to the downside, okay? And for VNQ, if we're able to break above 107 here, there's a good chance that VNQ will completely be reversing, all right? And for the fact that VNQ hasn't participated in the overall QQQ and SPY, and well, basically the overall market bounce here, tells us that VNQ is lagging. So there's a good chance that money can start flowing in to real estate names, which is why I chose O, because money is flowing into this specific real estate name. So if we take a look at O on the weekly time frame, right? Looks like we're seeing a nice broadening channel here. All right, so this tends to be a bit bearish here, but the trend is very, very clear, right? We have higher lows, right? And higher highs, okay? So this is a very clear uptrend. And for the fact that we've bounced at this ascending support trend line in order to make another higher low, just tells me that this real estate name is very, very strong. And for the fact that last week, okay, if you take a look at the 2-hour time frame, we broke out of this nice flag that we saw in the intraday time frame here. So if we're able to continue this run this week, right, this new upcoming week here, we should be able to hold 67.50, which is an intraday level that we saw as support on Friday and on Thursday. We should be able to see a continuation above $68, and eventually we should be able to see a profit target, our first profit target, around 70 and 71. Okay, so let's make this red for you guys so you guys can see in the video. Okay, so continue to watch out for real estate names, especially this name right here, since it's being bought up. Our second name is BLL, or Ball Corporation. So let's take a look at the bigger picture. Now, the bigger picture vision here that we see, all right, is that this company is very strong, right? We are now forming a huge macro ascending triangle chart pattern, right? I mean, this huge ascending support has been a very major support area for the stock whenever it decides to come back down. So for the fact that we retested it multiple times the past few weeks and bounced on top of it, continues to show us that this ascending support trend line is a very strong trend line, and we cannot ignore it. So on the weekly time frame, if we're able to break above, okay, 97.50 to around $99, okay, there's a good chance that we can see a nice big blue sky breakout. I mean, this stock has been going up and up and up, and usually when the stock continues to go up, it will continue to go up, right? So as this stock continues to go up, right, it will continue to make new all-time high levels, just as it did back in 2020 when it recovered after the huge market correction that we saw in March of 2020. Okay, so watch out, okay, for that huge level break, which will initially start around 97.50. All right, now if you guys are looking for an entry and if you guys want to see another retest of this ascending support trend line, I wholeheartedly believe you won't get it. But if we do, that will be another buy point, maybe around $88 to around $89. Okay. But continue to watch out for a nice entry this week above 95 or retest of around 92 to 92.80ish to around 93ish. Okay, our third name is General Mills. Now, as you guys can clearly see on General Mills here, we had a very, very, very volatile past 3 weeks here. All right. The first week here that we see, right, this first weekly candlestick was when General Mills was first on our CFO Swinger Watch newsletter, and it failed this very, very nice bull flag that we were watching out for. And as it continued to break support, it came right back down to the weekly 50 SMA. All right. Now, as I was tracking it throughout the rest of the weeks after this happened, we continued to find support at the 50 SMA. And eventually, last week after earnings, we saw a very emotional run up after earnings, which is very, very good. And for the fact that we've come back into the flag price range here, all right, so if I just extend these lines here, right? So with this extension of these lines, right, these trend lines, we're right back into that bullish flag. So what does this mean? So whenever the price tends to come back to a previous chart pattern that it just negated and broke out of, right? It just tells us that the price is looking to make a redemption, right, and come back and eventually have the correct, well, quote unquote, correct, and in this case, a bullish correct breakout from this bullish flag. So the levels that I'm watching for a bullish breakout is around 67.50, 68, and finally 68.50. All right. So if we're able to break above 68.50, we should be able to see new all-time high prices and eventually towards the 70s here, which we failed to reach back in January 14th, 2022, where we made an all-time high number of around 69.95. Okay, so our fourth name here is Macy's. And you guys should already know why I love Macy's, right? Great base, okay? Great company overall as it's completely redesigning its business and how it operates. And for the fact that last week, we really didn't see that big rejection that we tend to see on Macy's during this base formation, right? We had this very, very big rejection and continuation down, okay, until we hit major area of support, which is around $23 and 22.50. And then we see another one right here, okay, and then another one. But last week, when we retested $28, did we immediately go down? No, we didn't see that very volatile movement to the downside. So this has me intrigued because if we're able to stay above $26 here, as we did last week, okay, and for the fact that we closed above $26, could be a good indication and a sign that possibly this week we can finally get that breakout out of that 28 once we come back above it, because we've touched this resistance multiple times, which is telling us buyers that we really want to break out of this really good ceiling that we've made in this base formation. Okay. All right. Our last name is CSX. Okay. Now CSX has been showing really great strength, and last week it used up all of its trading days to just consolidate. And thanks to that consolidation, we're now seeing a very nice bull flag. So if we take a look at the 2-hour time frame, it's even better. So the trading ranges here, okay, the trading price ranges here are looking very, very good and very, very tight, which could mean there's a potential breakout about to happen above $37. And if we're able to break above $37, that could also mean that we could potentially 100% retrace our steps back towards the high that we made a couple of weeks ago, which is around $38.63. And if we're able to come back to this high that we made on the weekly time frame, there's a good chance that we can go all the way up to $39, which would mean we have made another new all-time highs. Now, now, mind you, guys, we are seeing, okay, a literal V formation here, okay? And whenever we see these types of V recoveries or V chart patterns, there's a good chance that the chart tends to break below this ascending support, okay, that we are seeing or that we always see in a V-shaped recovery here, right? So if you're to break this ascending support trend line, all right, there's a good chance that we can go straight down and retest this 200 SMA on the weekly time frame. Okay, so watch out for any types of huge reversals on this name because it can also provide a great short opportunity, but at the same time, it could also mean that any type of long positions that you guys may have can be jeopardized because if you break below this ascending support trend line, it could mean a very aggressive and violent move to the downside. I mean, we've seen this with SPY, right? If we take a look at the weekly time frame, right, this V-shaped recovery on this ascending support trend line. And once we broke it, there's a very violent move to the downside in just 2 weeks here. Okay, so watch out for CSX. All right, so far, very bullish, nothing wrong with it. And for the fact that we're coming back to the previous highs that we made is just amazing. Okay, so I have another cryptocurrency pick for you all. Solana. Okay, so last week, Cardano did extremely well. And I also think that for this week, Solana will do incredibly well because of the fact that this is actually lagging compared to the other cryptocurrencies. And if you guys don't know what Solana is, go look it up. But Solana has risen very, very quickly to be one of the major cryptocurrencies. I mean, it's literally up there with Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, etc. Right? So this is a major coin that I will be continuously looking out for in the near-term future, and I will be building a position this week. So as you guys can see, we have similar action to ADA or Cardano from last week as we broke out of this descending level of resistance, but we haven't had that stratospheric and emotional breakout that we saw on Solana. So most likely we will see a slower move to the upside as we continue to break out on this name. So we have a huge level of resistance around 105 to around 106, but we are staying above it currently. So, who knows? We might come back down and retest that 105 level, or we may see another explosion higher above 110, which is my next level that we need to break out of in order to see that official reversal to the upside, and hopefully we can see and reclaim that 120 that we failed to reclaim back in February of 2022. Okay. All right. So that is it for this week. I will see you guys in the CFO Discord. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the CFO YouTube channel here. Make sure you guys like and comment down below what else you guys are watching for this week. Thank you for your time and good luck.